Hi everyone, today I'm going to be talking about motion and more specifically how to describe it. So when is an object in motion? An object is in motion if its position changes relative to another object. So what do I mean by relative to another object? Well, as you're watching this, you're probably sitting in a chair. So relative to the chair, compared to the chair, are you in motion? Probably not, right? You're still sitting in the chair. Now, if you were to get up and walk away from your chair, then compared to your chair, you are in motion. So in that scenario, your chair is a reference point. A reference point is a place or object used for comparison to determine if something is in motion. So good reference points are objects that are in fixed positions, meaning they don't move. So trees, road signs, buildings, flagpoles, something that's not going to move. So I'm going to show you some clips from some movies where characters are in motion. And while you're watching these clips, be on the lookout for things in the background that can be used as reference points. This clip is from The Lion King, so look out for objects that you could use as a reference point to describe that Simba and Nala are moving.
Step lively. The sooner we get to the water hole, the sooner we can leave.
So are we really going? An elephant graveyard? Wow! Shh! Sasu, right? So how are we gonna ditch the dodo?
Oh, just look at you two little...
So two reference points that I picked out in this video were this log here and also this tree because they're not moving. So you can see Simba and Nala walking closer to them, and that's how you can tell that they're in motion. This next clip is from Star Wars, so see if you can spot any good reference points to show that the ship that they're in is in motion. So in this clip, two reference points that I picked out are this corner here where the wall meets the floor, and also these two guys right here. So you can see the ship moving past them, and that makes them a good reference point. So when we talk about motion, we talk about distance. So distance is the length of the path between 2 points. So typically distance is measured in meters. This is the SI unit for distance. You can also use different units if it's a very small or a very large path. So a larger distance we would use a kilometer, and there are 1,000 meters in a kilometer. For a smaller distance we can use centimeters, which there are 100 centimeters in 1 meter, or we could use millimeters, and there are 1,000 millimeters in 1 meter. And we're also going to look at distance time graphs. So a distance time graph shows how far an object is from where it started as time passes. So on this graph down here at the very bottom of the graph, that would be 0 meters from the start basically. And then as the object gets farther away, it gets farther away from the bottom of the graph. So this object is traveling farther away from the starting point, and the line is straight diagonally, which means that it's traveling at a steady speed. In this distance time graph, the object once again is traveling away from the starting point, and then once it gets right here and the line is flat, horizontal, it's no longer getting farther away from the starting point. So you know that the object must have stopped. And then once it gets here, it starts up again, getting farther away from the start. In this graph, it does the same thing. It gets farther away, then it stops, and then it starts up again. But in this one, you see how this diagonal line isn't as steep as that one. So here, the object is traveling slower than it did at this point. And in this graph, the object travels away from the start at a steady speed. Here the line is flat, so it stopped, And now the line's going down back towards the bottom. So this means that the object is getting closer to the starting point. So it turned around and it went back to the start. And then finally, in this distance time graph, you see how it's not a straight line. This is an upward curving line, so this means that the object is gradually getting faster. That's why as it goes up, the line gets steeper and steeper. So you have 3 flashcards for this presentation, and they are motion, reference point, and distance time graph.